Are you sick and tired of making mediocre ribs? Well, if you're not, I can guarantee you that your family is. I'm going to show you how to make championship ribs good enough to beat Heath Riles. Come on inside, let's go. All right, let me give you a little breakdown of what we have here. What you're going to see is a simple diagram of my ribs and Heath Riles' ribs. So over here, you'll notice my ribs leave everyone very happy and satisfied. Heath Riles' ribs, not so much. The diagram is really very clear about that. So what I'm going to do today is tell you what I do to my ribs and what Heath does to his ribs from his mouth at Memphis in May of 2024. And we're going to have a head-to-head competition and see who wins. I think I know the answer already. All right, now that we know that my ribs are superior, will be superior, let me show you how they're gonna be superior. Let's go inside, take a look at the ribs we're gonna be using. I'll post some of the ingredients up on the screen in just a moment. The rubs we'll be using, again, I'm gonna be following Heath Riles' recipe that he put online for Memphis in May 2024. He won the whole thing somehow, I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna use the rubs he uses, the sauce he uses, the butter bath he uses, and we're gonna do it on a stick burner. So let's get in there. I'll show you my recipe and his, and we'll prep them and get them on the grill. All right, I'm gonna quickly show you how I prep both of these racks of ribs. The first using Heath Riles rubs. The second, which is my style, using Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning and a little bit of black pepper just to get them started. Let's go through these, get them seasoned up, and let them sweat in a little bit, and then we'll get them on the grill. You'll also notice I'm using Prairie Fresh baby back, loin back ribs for both. That's what Heath uses, so I want to keep it consistent. I typically use spare ribs or St. Louis cut style spare ribs. That's what I prefer. However, just in keeping it fair and showing that I can beat Heath using his product, that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to use French's mustard as a binder on both. That's what I typically use out of Worcestershire. Yes, I don't have gloves on. It doesn't take much. You don't taste it. It just holds the rub on. I don't even know if it's necessary. I just know everybody does it, so whatever. All right, so for Heath Riles' ribs, he starts off with the garlic jalapeno rub and then the competition, and he uses the honey rub later. So we'll do this front set as Heath's ribs. Start with the garlic jalapeno. I'm gonna go pretty heavy. We're gonna come back in with his competition rub. I'm gonna let that sit there for a second and sweat in, just to be fair. And on mine in the back, I'm just gonna use a little bit of Tony's. It's basically a Creole seasoning salt if you haven't used it. Also adding some 16 mesh black pepper. Relatively light. All right, we've had these sitting up for about 10 to 15 minutes. They're starting to sweat in. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for this competition. So let's take them outside and get them on the grill. It's looking good. What we're gonna do is put the Heath Riles rack on the left side. My rack will go on the right side, excuse me. Oh, that peach wood is smelling fantastic. Some peach and apple and some pecan. All right, so we're good to go there. We're gonna get it closed up, let them sit on there at about 275 for about an hour, then I'll come check on them. All right, let's take a look at these. I think they're ready to come off. It's sitting about 225, both sides. Yeah. And when I say come off, we got to wrap. They've been on a little over 2 hours. These look fantastic. This is the Heath's version, and this is my version. They're both plumping up very nicely. This Heath's definitely has more of a red color, which is no big deal. We're going to pick up even more color once we wrap, because I'll add a little more rub to this one actually. All right, now it's time to wrap the ribs. Let's start off with Heath Riles version BB. All right, so Heath Riles, if I remember correctly, he puts the honey rub down first. Like I said, I took this straight from his video that he put out. So he puts some honey rub out. Then he takes the ribs, which these look fantastic, I will admit, they have a great color, and lays them down. The backs look fantastic. I don't recall if he puts more of the honey on there, but I am going to put a little more competition rub on there for. I want it to be fair. Mine are going to be so much better. So, and then I do know we have some of his butter bath made up. I'm not sure about the smell of it. I really am not sure. All right, so I'm going to pour some in here. I mix this with apple juice.
Okay.
And that, like you said, oh Lord. All right. Starting to, we're going to give him a fair shake though. I mean, he did win.
Oh, and Dad, if I can say something real quick.
Sure, go for it.
We usually use apple juice, so this is not a new thing about apple juice.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to take that, wrap his up nice and tight. Set those to the side. I feel like we have an unfair advantage, because what we're going to do is I start with a little butter. This is actually real butter, not margarine. What I am going to do, I probably will use, I usually use like Yardbirds or something like that, but I am going to use a little bit of his rub here. I always use a little bit of a competition rub and put it at the bottom. This is when I start adding my flavors, which is later. So yeah, I'm going to beat him. I might as well beat him with his own rub, right? So we'll put some of that down. I'm not going to use the honey rub. We're going to use just a little bit of syrup. Camille, I see your face back down back there. You're a little skeptical here. A little syrup. A little brown sugar. This is where that layering of flavor comes from that both of you love. Camille, you look skeptical back here, but I promise you've had this before. You're going to love it. We're going to lay these face down, and then we're going to do it again. We will start to wrap, but we also need some moisture too. So we're just adding straight apple juice. So we're basically making our own butter bath, if you really want to know. All right, so what we're going to do is fold this up, get this back on the smoker, probably another 45 minutes for both. As soon as we start feeling them break apart, and then we'll slice them. No, we still have to glaze. We'll glaze them, put them back on for a few minutes, then slice them, and then we'll do the final test. All right, while we're waiting on the ribs to finish up, we'll go ahead and enter our question and answer portion of the show. So let's see, we've received a ton of comments and questions since the first video. I fully expected it. Most were dead on. It's been great to hear the feedback. I want you to keep those coming. And so we'll just, like I said, we might as well talk about what our viewers are feeling, you know, what their questions are, some of the concerns they may have. While, like I said, the ribs are on right now. They're wrapped. We're just waiting for those to finish up. So let's see. We'll start question 1 from Tony in New Jersey. Let's see what Tony says. He says, I bet you're going to eat all the ribs, aren't you? Okay, that's clearly not a serious question, so I'm going to move on. Tony, please stop. That's let's just keep it on track here. Question 2 from Dennis in Atlanta. Does Heath Riles even know who you are? He seems like a professional. Thank you, Dennis. No, he doesn't. If I were him, I wouldn't want to know me. You wouldn't want to meet the person that's going to beat your famous rib recipe. These, you know, I don't know. These are ridiculous questions. Let's keep it on point. I don't appreciate. Look, I'm doing what I do. Heath Riles does what he does. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, question 3, Tabitha from Scottsdale. Let's see. Where can I get your full rib glaze recipe? Okay, all right, thanks. So I covered a little bit of that today. And I might touch on it again later, but if not, all of the rib glaze recipe will be in the little description below below the video, so that's not a big problem at all. So just check that out. I'll have all the stuff I use for Heath's ribs as well as for mine. So more than likely you're going to use mine. I don't know why you would use his stuff, but whatever. So yeah. Anyway, thanks Tabitha. That was a fantastic question. Yeah. So all right, question. Let's see. Question 4. Oh, okay. It's Tony from New Jersey again. I don't know if it's a different Tony or the same one. I'm going to assume it's the same one, but let's see what Tony says. Yeah, boy, I bet you are going to take both racks out, aren't you? Okay, you know what, Tony, I think we're done here. It's getting a little ridiculous. Our viewers want to hear something constructive. So, Tony, you can kiss my... All right, we pulled the ribs off the grill, let them rest for about 30 minutes or so, glaze them up, and they are ready to go. So what we're going to do now is cut both of them. They both look great. Mine looks better. No big deal. And so what we're going to do is cut them up and have BB and Camille be the official taste testers of these ribs to settle it once and for all. And if there's a tie, probably won't be. If there's a tie, I will be the tiebreaker. And so we're going to see who's better, my ribs or Heath's ribs. I'm just going to cut a few out of the middle here. These do look good. All right. Let's get some, I had that flipped upside down. Let's get some of my ribs. Special recipe proprietary blend, which will be in the comments below. All right, B, you're going first. You try Heath's ribs first. Honest opinion. Just give this a bite and see what you think.
Oh, it's so juicy and...
BB, that's Heath's, not mine. That's mine. Mine's number 2.
Oh, yeah.
All right, try it again. Try okay. Heath's again.
Oh, what are you giving me?
All right, now try number 2.
Okay.
Which is really number 1.
Where's the flavor, Dad?
BB, that's mine.
Oh.
Try it again. Try it again right now.
Yum.
Thank you. That's perfect. All right, I'll be able to edit the other part out. Thank you. All right, Camille, try Heath's first. All right, did neither one of you listen to me? We've already talked about this. His are bad, mine are good. Try it again. Camille! Whatever. Try one of mine.
Where's the flavor?
Camille, get out. Go to your room right now. All right, I don't fault those two. They haven't tried a lot of ribs. They probably like just the fake taste of a Memphis-style rib that Heath produces, I suppose. I don't really know. So what we're going to do is I'll be the final, say-so here. Oh, geez. Which one is this one, BB?
Heath.
Okay. It's not bad. Okay. All right, cut it. All right, so what's the final verdict?
I like Heath's better.
Excuse me?